Hello everyone, and welcome to the second episode of how to make a Python Discord bot from scratch. In the previous episode, we went over how to install Python on your system, create a Discord bot, add it to your server, and make it post an online message. In this episode, we'll be going over how to create a better system to send these online messages, including the basics of creating embedded messages and setting the playing status of the Discord bot. Without any more delay, let's jump right into it. First things first, I want to rearrange the way that we've organized things with this channel ID a little bit so it's more accessible to reuse in our code later. So what I have done in Discord is I've created a bot logs channel, and this is where I want all of our logs to go, because this way we have a dedicated place for our bot to be sending messages that aren't going to be lost in a field of other messages. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and copy the ID of that channel, and we're going to replace our old ID with that. And then up here, I'm going to add in a couple spaces. I'm going to say log channel ID is going to equal that ID. So now we have a variable called log channel ID, which has our channel ID saved to it. I'm going to go ahead and take that channel ID and place it right here inside of our get channel function. So what this is going to do is going to take this channel ID, assign it to this variable, and then we're going to use that variable, which contains that channel ID, to get our channel object. I'm going to rename this variable a little bit and call it log channel. I can say await log channel dot send content equals I am online. So this will make it so that we can reuse this log channel ID later in the future without having to completely write the number in again. And this makes a variable that we can remember and just write down off the top of our head instead of having to remember numbers or go find it to copy it every time. Alright, so to get started with the actual kind of coding of this, let's talk a little bit about string formatting and what a string is. A string is a set of characters that you write into your code inside of either quotes or apostrophes. Most of our situations we should be using quotes. It doesn't really matter either way until we start getting into string formatting. So what string formatting does is it takes our string and lets us dynamically change its values. So this word connected could be something else that's a variable that we set in our code somewhere. So we have multiple ways of doing this string format. In this case, I'll be using a system called fstrings, which I believe to be one of the most powerful systems possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the entirety of the contents of this string. And then outside of the quotes before everything, I'm going to go ahead and put an F in. And now this is an F string. So inside of this F string, what I can do now is I can start typing and I can say logged in as, and then inside of curly braces, and this is the part where dynamic string changing comes in. So we have logged in as bot.user. And so this bot is obviously our bot variable, and then user is a property or an attribute of bot. And basically, if I show you the documentation for discord.py really quick, that is over on this page. You can see that we have a user object. And this user object, and I'll have this documentation linked in the description as well. This user object is what we just got from doing bot.user. Now this user object has a bunch of useful things like the name, the ID, the discriminator, avatar. Discriminator is the 4 numbers at the end of the username. But so that's a bit of explanation on that. But so if we just leave it as just bot.user, it's going to go ahead and add the discriminator in there for us. So for example, for my username, this would say 31st_HM, number 0310. And what this will do is it'll give us the ability to insert that into the string dynamically. So whatever your bot name is, that will appear in this string. And that's why this is such a powerful tool. And now we can say, and connected to Discord. So we've logged in as a bot and connected to Discord. And now we can go ahead and say, let's have it tell us the ID of the bot's user. So we get bot.user.id. And now it'll print the ID of the bot user as well. So yeah, now we have a much better print statement for when the bot comes online. So now that we've done that, let's set the playing message of the bot. So in our case, okay, so now that we've done that, let's set the playing message of the bot. So in our case, the playing message you can see in Discord as what a user is playing, of course. So what we can do is we can create a game object first. And now a game object, which you can see down here in the documentation again, has 4 attributes. It has a name, has a type, a start, and an end. And then it says these, you can actually see that these are optional. And then it turns out the type is actually set by default for us by the Discord module. So the only thing that we actually have to set is the name. So if we jump back into our code here, we can go ahead and say our game is going to equal, and then again, this variable name can be whatever you want it to be. It's going to equal discord.game with a capital G. So now we've created a game object, and we're going to set the name of this game. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and call it !help, because I feel like it's a good idea to have it show the help command underneath the name. So we're going to go ahead and use that. And right underneath that, we can say await again, so that anything after this, it's going to wait for this to finish running before it goes to the next thing. We're going to say await bot.change presence, and we're going to say activity. Is that right? Yes, that is right. Activity is going to equal game, if I could spell activity. So what this is going to do is going to set the activity of the bot to our game object that we created. And so now the bot should say that's playing !help whenever we bring it online. Alright, so we only have one thing left to do. We need to send a better online message into our log channel now. So to do that, we're going to learn what a Discord embedded message is. And so a Discord embedded message is the type of things that you see pop up whenever you send a YouTube link or a Twitter link, for example. How you have kind of a separate box inside of the channel with a red or a blue sidebar or whatever color, and that's an embedded message. So we're going to be creating one of those right now. And now to do that, if you jump over the documentation again, you'll see here is an embed object. And this one has a lot more attributes than other objects have, but that's fine. We only are going to learn how to make a basic one here. So I'm going to create a variable called embed, and I'm going to call this, it's going to be set to discord.embed. So now we've created an embed object. Then in here, I'm going to say title is going to equal, and in this case, I'm going to have the title say, it's going to be an F string, so it's adaptable again. We're going to say bot.user.name, so we can print the username of the bot without the numbers at the end online. And so that's it, that's the title. Now we're going to say that we're going to give it a color. Now for color, Discord has discord.py has built-in color management right here. So what we're going to do for that is we're going to go ahead and say discord.color. That instead of adding parentheses here, we're going to say another dot, and I could say teal, or I could say blue, or any of their built-in colors that they offer into the library, which is a bunch of these ones. However, there's another, in my opinion, more powerful tool that they offer, which is from RGB, and it allows you to pick your 3 RGB values. So in this case, I'll say 0, 0, 0, and this is just going to be black, or you could do 255, 255, 255, and this would be white. Those are the 2 ends of your spectrum. And you can look up like an RGB color picker on Google to find these values for whatever you think would be a good system to use. And you'll see my code goes ahead and highlights that for me in terms of what the color is. So that's helpful, so you can see that it's a black color there. Now, our last thing we're going to create is a timestamp so that our embedded message shows the time. Now to do this, we're going to import another module. In this case, it's going to be called datetime, all one word. Now, datetime is a built-in module into Python, so you shouldn't have to install it. And down here, we can go ahead and say timestamp equals datetime.datetime, and this will create .now, and this will create a datetime object, which is an object that contains the datetime, the date and time of now. Except in order for Discord to understand this time we're passing it, we need to convert that to a UTC timestamp, which is like the global kind of standard. And then everything else is based around adding or removing hours from that timestamp. So to do that, we're going to say datetime.timestamp, timezone.utc. And what this will do is it'll create a datetime of now with a time zone of UTC. And so that's it. We've created an embed object. However, if we want to include a little bit more detail into our embedded object, or kind of assign it as ours, we can do embed.setFooter. So now we're going to set a footnote to our embed, and we're going to say text equals your footer text. And I can go ahead and say icon URL is going to equal this. But so now we have our text, and I'm going to go ahead and give it an icon so that it can display an icon. In this case, I have an image right here, which I can go ahead and copy, and then I'll just paste the link into the string right here. So now that we've done that, the only thing left to do is change our send function so that instead of sending our content of just a string, we're going to send an embed. That's going to be our embed variable, or whatever you've named this variable. And with that said, that should be it. We should be done and ready to go. So what we can do now is we can pull up our folder again. We can open a terminal if you're on Linux or Mac, or a command prompt if you're on Windows. And now we can go ahead and type in python main.py just like before. And after a few seconds, you should see we have logged in as tutorialbot discriminator value right there with the ID of this. And this shows that right here. Now if I go ahead and pull up Discord, you'll see that we have our playing status. We're playing !help. And in our logs channel where we are right now, we have an embedded message that was sent. It's got our black color on the sidebar. It says tutorialbot, the name of the bot, online. We have our footer text that we set, our footer icon, and our timestamp, which is an accurate timestamp for my current time. But anyways, that's everything for this one. So if you guys have enjoyed, or if something hasn't gone correctly, I would recommend going back through the video or trying to look for a typo in your code. If everything worked for you, congratulations, you're making progress towards a full Discord bot. Next time, we'll go over how to create a working command that will return a simple response, and then we'll adapt that function to create a full restart command. As always, guys, if you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, leave a like, comment, and subscribe, as it is greatly appreciated. On another note, I'll be putting a Discord server together that you can join if you are interested in asking me questions directly or seeking specific help. And on that note, I'll be wrapping the video up there. As always, take it easy, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.